Natalie Walter. I am sure that just about everyone here has at one point wished that their life could be easier. Whether you wish that your schedule would be less busy, your classes would be less time consuming, or maybe you, like others, have struggled with health issues, making it feel like the weight of the world was on your shoulders. Yet, when you look around, it seems like everyone else has life so much easier than you, making you feel defeated. Um, Within the last 5 years, I've had my fair share of health issues. Some issues have only lasted a few days, while others are now a part of my everyday life. Whether it's losing a close relative or being diagnosed with a new health issue or struggling with a college course, everyone at some point in their life will face some sort of hardship. The important thing to remember is to adapt and persevere in life. Today, I will be giving you two examples of why adapting is so important in life. Firstly, I will share with you Aesop's fable, The Oak and the Reeds, which highlights an important fable of adapting versus resisting in life's troubles. Then, I will share with you my personal story and how I had to adapt to make it where I am today. To start, let's focus on Aesop's fable, The Oak and the Reeds. Since this fable is not very well known, I will share with you a quick little summary of The Oak and the Reeds. As retold on the website of Aesop's Fables online collection of 656 plus fables, which I retrieved on January 28th of 2026, Aesop tells the story of a large oak tree and some reeds that face a strong windstorm. The oak tree tried to resist the wind and ultimately got uprooted by the wind and thrown across the river. The reeds, however, were able to survive the wind because they would sway with the wind instead of resisting. Now, if you were to imagine a very large oak tree, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? You think strong, you think a wide diameter, at least a couple of feet. But I mean, that sounds like strong, so why would it get uprooted and thrown across? But now let's switch over to the reeds. Um, they're swaying in the wind. Now, if you're not familiar with reeds, Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines a reed as a type of tall grass. And it's very hollow and it grows in marshy areas. Now, when I think about that, I don't think about strong. Now, after the strong wind subsided, the oak tree turned to the reeds and they asked them, "How were you able to survive?" The reeds replied to the oak tree, and they said, "You tried resisting the wind. You tried standing tall, and that caused you to fall. I, however, had to bend and sway with the wind." The fable then ends with these three wise words: stoop to conquer. This means to adapt to achieve a greater goal or success. In summary, Aesop's The Oak and the Reeds, it shows us that although the oak tree was stronger, the reeds were able to survive the storm since they adapted and they didn't resist the winds. Following that fable, let's look at a more approachable example. About 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with a condition that would change my everyday life. Um, as I mentioned earlier, this condition still affects my everyday life, and I had to change my diet, and I had to change my new normal. Now, initially, this was like really hard news for me, and I wanted to pursue nursing, so it was hard for me to still accomplish this goal. But the thing I had to realize was that I had to, um, I didn't have to quit and give up on my dreams, but I had to just adapt with life and to adapt to this new normal. So I might have been small and weak, like the reeds in the Aesop's fable, but I was able to overcome the storm that life threw at me. Although my story is not quite the same as the oak and the reeds, it holds a similar moral. And as the telling of the oak and the reeds and the retelling of my personal story, adapting to life's storms is far more beneficial than resisting. So, in the closing statement, remember these three wise words: stoop to conquer. And how are you able to adapt to your current hardships and achieve your goals? Thank you. Are there any questions?